I hate the red pill community. I think they are a sickness. I think they are a detriment to society. I think they are all made of beta males who play on the emotional insecurities of younger males.
I was like, this man is not who he says he is. He is not treating her the way that he claims they should treat women.
Yeah, Myron Gaines is like the final boss before you get to Andrew Tate. I think he is the biggest cancer to society. These men aren't leaders. They're beta males. They're insecure men who don't know how to lead women. I'm gonna burn this red pill shit to the ground. We're gonna discuss Louis Theroux's documentary called Inside the Manosphere. That's just popped up on Netflix. This is like hits home for me, okay? And the reason is, if you don't know me, if you don't know who I am, if you don't know what I'm about, I hate the red pill community, okay? I'm just gonna I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I'm not gonna slow roll this out. I cannot stand the red pill company. I think they are a sickness. I think they are a detriment to society. I think they are all made of beta males who play on the emotional insecurities of younger males. And I honestly started this show because we actually, because of the gender wars that they have created in society. And there's basically just a bunch of men who hate women. And they run around and tell you that they love women, but they hate women. They hate women. They love vagina, but they hate women. Okay. And I am like the nemesis, right? I am the Joker to their Batman, or the Batman to their Joker. I'm the Lex Luthor. I hate everything they stand for. I hate everything they're about. I hate everything they talk about, all the stuff that they preach. It's absolute bullshit, absolute nonsense. I'm going to get into it today, but this documentary absolutely hit home. It's one of the reasons I started this show, because I wanted to fight back against this growing popularity of men hating women and women hating men, and actually talk about what a real man looks like, what a real leader looks like, and how to keep couples together and in love, in real love.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. So this documentary was really, really good, and we're going to react to it a little bit. Louis Theroux was he was great. I thought Louis Theroux did an amazing job, and I heard online there was a little bit of pushback because he didn't debate or argue enough, and that's not what this was.
No.
I feel like he did an amazing job of just letting them talk themselves into these like holes and these cycles and circles of nonsensical, incoherent bullshit. I just think the more they talked, it's funny because sometimes you'd look at their face and be like, I don't even think they believe the bullshit that's coming out their mouth. And
Absolutely.
You could see them confusing themselves.
Yes.
So kudos to Louis Theroux. I think he did it incredible. The way he would just pause, no feedback, no emotions, mind you. They would, especially the people inside of this documentary. So let's just kind of go over who he interviewed. He had Harrison Sullivan, right?
Yeah, known as HS.
Known as HS TikkyTokky. Yeah,
I think so. I think that's his
with a dumbass name. Okay. This guy might be the dumbest one in this documentary.
For sure.
Yeah. Then you had Justin Waller, who I had seen around the Andrew Tate before, or the Tate brothers. Mm-hmm. I wasn't too familiar with him. Super suave guy. Very, very, very funny that, we'll get into it, but these guys, when they get around their girls or their wives, how shit seems to change.
Different. Yeah.
Obviously Myron Gaines, who I think is like the final boss before you get to Andrew Tate, right? So Myron Gaines is not for nothing, actually fairly intelligent guy when it comes to actual topics he knows, women not being one of them.
Yeah.
I think he is the biggest cancer to society, maybe even bigger than Andrew Tate.
He really got under my skin.
Yeah.
That one.
Well, he tends to do that for women. But the problem with this red pill community is that they run around with this, vibrato about them. I'm big, I'm bad, I make a ton of money, I'm swole, I get the girls, and that looks good to a young kid, but there's no substance to it. There's no stability in it. There's no longevity in it. And the problem is there's not enough men to fight back who embrace or embody the same physiques, the same money, the same, there's not enough men who come out and say, hey, no, you guys are a bunch of beta males and all of this is bullshit. And so when this documentary came out, I was like, oh, this is really funny because now you can kind of see the holes in all of their ideologies, all the inconsistencies in their morality. These guys they're just completely full of shit. I know I've been talking. I'm very spirited about this, but I do want to get into the documentary. So
I think they also touched on Sneako just a little bit, right? Like by the end of it.
And I'm familiar with Sneako really through Destiny. I'd seen him on the Fresh. Obviously, they go over the Fresh and Fit podcast. That's Myron Gaines. So Sneako's on there quite a bit, at least in the early years. I don't know. I don't follow any of that now. So you have Sneako. They didn't actually interview Andrew Tate. He was just kind of discussed, of course, because he's the godfather of the shit.
Yeah.
So Myron Gaines, Sneako. Did I miss anybody?
I think that was it.
So those
where they
the
kind of like honed in on them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you're a woman. I'll get your first reactions, and then I will. I'm gonna have this a little bit closer.
Okay.
And then talk to me. Tell me your reactions, and then I'm gonna go full force because you listen. I'm here for all of this, and this is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
This is what I want to face these type of guys head on.
For sure, you want to take them down.
I do.
Someone has to.
Yeah.
I feel like you're the best person for that,
yeah.
honestly. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll get into it. But this is so new to me.
Yeah. She's unfamiliar with this whole red pill community, which is a nice thing to be, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be aware of it because the growing generation of new men, these are the guys that are popping up and influencing them.
That is the scary part.
Mindful of that.
Yes, that's the scary part for me. So, of course, I've heard a little bit of the red pill community through you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you talk about, I know that you talk about that like a lot on like your socials as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten to know it a little bit. I just never did like the research. Of course, like my socials, like my For You page and all that is like fashion and like, curated to like all the things that I love. So these men don't pop up on my socials.
Yeah.
However, a few of them I did, notice.
Mm-hmm.
I think like through like YouTube or something.
Sure.
But I never did like the research until the documentary came out and we watched it, and I was really alarmed through the documentary.
Yeah.
I think like I have like a couple of things to say about it. I like to just kind of I really like to just watch how people just respond to certain things and interact.
Mm-hmm.
It was really interesting to see.
Kind of observe.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like it told me everything that I needed to know about these type of men.
Yeah.
And their partners as well.
We actually probably should get into.
We have to talk about their partners.
Let's get into what happened in the documentary, and then maybe our thoughts on everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the documentary starts off with Louis Theroux interviewing. He kind of discusses the Manosphere and the Red Pill. If you're not familiar with the Manosphere and the Red Pill, it's basically a bunch of men who tell younger guys, in a nutshell, like they think that there is an attack on men, and maybe there is. I'm not here to dispute that. They think there is an attack on men. It's the problem I have is their prescription and the resolution to that. So they think there's an attack on men, and that there's an attack on men's masculinity, and so they have a bunch of prescriptions on how to combat all of this, and being they believe in like this traditional, I don't even want to call it traditional, they have this whole vibrato of, women should be in the kitchen, women should be cooking and cleaning, they should not be allowed to vote. That's very regressive ideology, just these really absurd thoughts that have no basis to them, no foundation. They don't even believe the shit that they spew out most of the time. They are very misogynistic. they demean women. There are these guys that go on the Whatever podcast or the Fresh and Fit, if you haven't seen these, and they invite a bunch of women on the show, a bunch of young girls who either do like OnlyFans or some of them might be college educated, and then they berate them. They just berate them and they bully them and they attack them with a bunch of questions that they have basically gotten, they have studied talking points and have a response to every single thing so that it looks like everything that they're talking is actual, has some sort of reality or substance to it. But it's really just them. It's the equivalent of like, going into somebody well versed in like politics, going to college and debating college students and then like owning them, right? Like thinking you get some sort of cool points for that. So that's what they do. They invite these women on, and they try to own them, and then they put out a million videos that says, Myron destroys, OnlyFans girls or Sneako obliterates girl. And it's it's just, that's what they do. That's what they do, right? It's very beta male activity, very insecure activity, and all of this stuff is for money and for clicks. They have scammed an entire generation. And that's the unfortunate part, is that because these guys don't believe half of the stuff they speak, or even live by that. And this documentary exposes that. So they start with Harrison, and he has just he's young. He seems young.
Yeah, definitely
very young world view, right? Just against misogynistic. He even goes on to explain that his mom doesn't approve of anything that he talks about.
And he would never talk this way around his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And his mom does come in later into the documentary, right? So yeah, so he goes on to follow, and kind of he's the bulk of a lot of this. Like he follows Harrison around a lot. HS TikkyTokky, and this guy, he lives this life where he makes good money. He works out, good in shape guy, but he also preaches this message of just misogyny, just demeaning women. He tends to be fairly bigoted, and throughout this documentary, he just kind of exposes this more and more. And it's funny because you watch him consistently get mad and almost. He implements, like you can see his insecurities coming out because there's so many times that he attacks. He does this thing where like he was super friendly to Mr. Theroux, right? And then when Theroux leaves, he talks hella shit about him online. Yeah.
Goes on a whole rampage.
His whole rant. Even though he's invited him back multiple times, he goes on these pieces. And of course, it's all for content, sure.
Yeah.
But he goes on these long just rants and puts out a ton of information, ton of videos trying to... And Louis Theroux, number one, rarely reacts to any of this stuff. But a lot of the things that he's projected onto Louis Theroux, he hasn't even said. Theroux hasn't even said these things.
Right.
And it's just funny watching him it's not funny to watch somebody spiral, but it is with somebody who spews this type of information.
Yeah.
All right. And just watch their world and their whole ideology crumble in front of them as they continue to speak. And obviously, he's going through legal troubles and all this stuff comes back to bite him in the end. But Theroux just kind of lets these guys talk. And I really love this interview style where he asks them these questions and then he'll ask like a follow-up question to make them even consider or see the like hypocrisy in their, original claim. And
I thought he did such a great job with that.
Yeah. So it goes on from there. He digs into their personal lives, right? He wants to know, what's your dating life like? What's your girl, who you're dating now? Do you really live by this code of these things that you claim, that you preach? It kind of moves on to what Justin Waller. Yeah.
Yes.
So he moves on to Justin Waller. And this guy's flashy. Flashy guy, suave, got the slick back hair, nice suits, nice ties, obviously makes good money. I think he deems himself worth about 30 mil.
It was interesting because he was also more respectful compared to HS.
This is my thing with people like Justin Waller. Justin understands people. He understands how people work. He knows people.
He's a true salesman.
He's a sales guy, right? There's two ways you can approach being a sales guy, right? You can be the car sales guy or you can be the honest sales guy. Justin's a car sales guy. He uses the psychology of people to manipulate a message and get it across while coming across as being the homie, being cool. We're friends. I'm a good guy. I love women. I dress nice. I got a nice car, sure, but I'm a good guy. I'll dap it up with you. I'll sit down and come here, bro. Come here, brother. Come here, brother. Why don't you sit down, brother? hang out with me, man. I'm a regular around the way guy. You know, I don't mean any harm. And these guys they're scammers. They're frauding. They have these cryptocurrency things set up where they get some sort of kickback for anybody who invests into these stock markets that whatever stock that they push, and then they get a kickback for somebody for, whatever their followers that puts money into it and loses a ton of money. They still make money. It's all a scam, and it's dressed up in this nice bow of, hey, we're men and we're bringing manhood back, and don't let them tell you that like you can't be a man, and don't let them tell you that you can't wear nice clothes and drive nice cars and have fancy suits and have all the women in the world. That's what it is. So Justin comes across as that slimy car sales guy who, he's super. I bet everybody that meets him is like, man, he's the nicest guy in person. He's so cool. And it's like, dude, it's so annoying because I know that behavior. I know that style of manipulation. I know
Right.
that and it's sad because he knows what he's doing. He knows that being that type of guy is going to garner him the attention. It's very easy to be charming and walk into a room and charm people, and boom, now you got him, right? So the documentary goes on, and we'll just kind of go into him individually. It goes on to, he talks about how he's not married to the woman he has children with. She lives in his home. He goes on to talk about how he has sex with multiple women, and she's aware of it, and they have basically a one-sided monogamous relationship.
Yep.
Which is basically open on his end, not open on her end.
Yeah.
And it's
But
funny.
I guess he also does bring them home.
Yeah.
If they're down for a threesome.
Yeah, if they're down for a threesome, and so, which whatever. I'm not here to judge people's sex lives. I could care less. I could care less about that. However, the funny part is a lot of times in this documentary, when he actually approaches the girlfriends or the wives, they don't ever seem like they're on board.
No. You can see it all over their face.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
Let's start with Angie.
Yeah, Angie is
Myron's.
Oh yeah, because we didn't even
right?
get it. Myron is the fresh and fit gentleman. Okay.
Yeah.
Myron is, again, the worst of the worst. Just a horrible person all around.
I literally, like, when they would show him on screen, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, something about him just makes my skin crawl.
The thing about Myron, he's all of them kind of mixed in one. Knows how to be charming. Good conversationalist. Fairly intelligent when it comes again to a topic that he knows of, or at least knows how to debate out to get out of something. Been doing it for a while, right? And I've seen prominent debaters on this show. Myron is so he runs the Fresh and Fit podcast. They're kind of they're the ones who really, really bring the girls on and dig into them. So he dates what's her name? Angie Camacho. So before we even see Angie on the show, you're talking to Myron about his relationship, and he talks about how he wants to have this open relationship and have maybe multiple wives, right?
Yeah.
And that even now his girl allows him to just step outside of the relationship and do whatever he wants. Again, another one-sided monogamous relationship. Yeah. And that's how he presents it, right? And again, he should, because he is he's the final boss in all of this. So he's supposed to be the king of all, I got the girl. She lets me do what I want. I make all the money. She gets in the kitchen. She cleans that room. She washes my shoes. She gives me blowjobs on command, right? Like that's his whole stigma. So he has to keep that imagery up. And we finally get to the point where Theroux gets to meet the girlfriend, this Angie, right?
And poor thing, she's so sweet, so like soft-spoken as well.
Yeah,
is what I gathered from her. Like she had like this little, like, did you hear in her voice, like it was a little shaky?
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
Yeah. This girl's a sweet little innocent girl. Clearly not like almost. It's almost like you have to be delusional to think she's on board with anything that he said. All right.
Yeah.
So he basically And I love that Theroux does this. I love that he
Yeah.
calls them out in person and he like holds them to the fire because he's like, no, your girl's here now. Like, let's ask her. So there's a segment. So he asked Myron directly, like, what's your relationship like with Angie? And so he says, we have a great relationship. She's a good girl. She does humps, does dishes, cleans, all that crap. And I step out whenever I want to. I can sleep with other women when I want to. I can, when we get married, I'm probably gonna have multiple wives. Like that's his whole thing, right? And he has to keep that persona up. Hey, I just want to say, Myron, you're a nice guy, bro.
Is he?
You're a nice guy. I don't mean a nice, like, sweet guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not who you say you are.
No, not at all.
You're a nice guy. You want the family. You want the home. You want the home life. You want the picket fence with the family and the dog and the kids. This shit that you preach, you can't fool me, man. Like, you can't fool me on none of this. You're not about none of this life that you preach. You care about this girl. You don't plan to have multiple wives. When they interviewed her, and she basically upfront said she's really not with you having multiple wives, you backtrack.
Sure did. He literally, he did mention that maybe he'll change his mind.
Yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
well, maybe there's a word, but maybe when I get older, like, maybe I'll just want one wife. Maybe I'll just want one wife.
He didn't want to upset her.
Yeah. This isn't about you wanting one wife. You didn't want to upset your girl because you care about her.
Of course.
Because you love her.
Where was the dominance in that moment?
There wasn't any because he doesn't
You know?
have any. These are beta males. These are guys that aren't dominant in their relationship. Oh, I'm gonna go on a tangent.
Angie
It's
also
coming. It's
mentioned,
brewing.
so, and Louis had asked her, like, pretty much, like, I guess, like, what was the question? Why him? And she said that he's very different.
Than on camera.
Absolutely, yeah. So she said he's a different person off camera. Like, that is not him to her. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, okay, I'm starting to see, like, these red pill guys for who they truly are.
Yeah.
They're in it for the money. I truly believe that it is just all this, like, money scheme.
And all of you men that have put money into this, they scammed you. Matter of fact, Harrison Sullivan made his money solely off owning a OnlyFans company.
Yeah. So crazy.
That exploit women on OnlyFans.
And he doesn't even agree with it.
But you want women to this. Oh man, see, tangent's about to come.
Yeah,
Rant's about to come.
They are about to come. I feel it brewing. It's getting real hot in here. It's getting so hot. But the Angie scene definitely got me. I was like,
yeah,
this man is not who he says he is. He is not treating her the way that he claims they should treat women.
Yeah, there was a section where he tried to like at the end of them talking, he didn't want her answering any more questions because she's exposing him at this point.
Of course.
And not blatantly. She doesn't even know.
She has no idea. She's answering the questions. Yeah.
And he basically is like, okay, she's done answering questions. And then he tries to end it with, go in the room. The room needs to be cleaned up. Like it's so demeaning. It was so condescending. It's like, that's not how you don't talk to her like that. You don't treat her like that outside of this. And that lets me know you don't believe none of this shit you say. Y'all don't behave this way outside of it. And if you do, you don't get any of the play that you act like you get. Because women don't respond to that. I'm not going to go on my rant yet. It's coming, but I'm not going to go on it yet. I'm going to go on it later.
Brewing.
It's brewing. So then we have they end it with Sneako and stay on Myron Gaines. There was a segment where they did invite Louis Theroux on the show, and Louis kind of sneaks off and starts to sneak off and goes into the back to ask the girl who does the bookings. He starts to ask her questions.
As he should have.
What was the question that he asked her about how she got the girls on the show? Because she got in trouble for answering the question.
What was
we'll have to pull it up. But he asks her, she starts to kind of explain how they get the girls on the show. And how they're like, nice to them, and they feed them and do all this stuff, and then boom, once the cameras get going, it's like lock-in time to start berating these girls, calling them whores, calling them sluts, calling them every name under the sun, demeaning them, telling them they hold no value. Just consistently across the board doing this. And I don't know how this has gotten so popular. I don't know how this has become such, I don't know how this has attracted so many men.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened in society. Well, actually, I think I do. But it's sad that this has happened in society where men have started to take out their frustrations on women and have, and are now like blaming women and are mad and angry at women for their downfalls and their setbacks.
Yeah, it's becoming a sickness.
Yeah. So that happens, and then Myron catches wind of it and starts texting her like, hey, you don't answer any more questions. Like, he's basically like, these guys should be open books. I mean, you should have nothing to hide.
You live this life, right?
Yeah, you should have nothing to hide. I don't understand the secrecy here. Your whole life is on camera. Your whole life is on camera.
Yeah.
So why can't he ask her questions that would go on a camera? You film everything. You're live streaming all the time. You're a podcast, so you do all these shows. You tweet and you X and you TikTok all the time. You put all your information out there. You're on every show under the sun that has to do with some sort of manosphere, red pill, misogynistic, whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. But as soon as somebody starts asking y'all questions, it's secrecy. It's this. No, man, because you will be exposed. You don't live this life that you say you do, and you're not this dominant alpha male character that you portray yourself to be. But you know that if that gets exposed, your entire livelihood is done, because that's why men subscribe to you, because they think you're this person that you're not.
Yeah.
And that would absolutely end you. These type of documentaries, absolutely. Louis Theroux talked about how he had a hard time even really getting to finally interview Myron because they're so secretive. You know, these guys who live their entire lives in the public eye happen to be insanely secretive, which is crazy. Now, the end with Sneako. I don't know Sneako as much. He's basically just like a pet of Myron Gaines. He's like he's like the I don't know. He's like the little sidekick, right? He's like Robin to the Batman. So I don't really take that guy serious.
No, I wasn't really like sure about him or even like what he did.
Yeah.
Like
he's just one of the, he's like a branch, right? You got a tree, and then Sneako's like a little brown. I don't think he's like,
is he like the type of guy he just looks up to them and then he just like now is like
he kind of like, and look, he got it in the beginning, right? And he created his own name for himself. I don't know. Yeah, he just hopped up. You know, he kind of came on the scene doing that, and he's a popular guy. He has a lot of followers. And stuff. But
they definitely showed like people stopping him on the streets.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
he's.
I'm not saying he's a nobody. He's definitely somebody. But like, it's off the coattails of these other guys.
Right.
So he's super insignificant. He's just another model of what they do.
Yeah.
These guys that are scamming. Mm-hmm. So that is it. I think Louis did a really good job. He let these guys talk themselves into a hole. It goes back to Harry Sullivan's Harrison. It's Harry, I guess. He goes back to Harry Sullivan's house. His mom is there, and the same lady who says she wouldn't agree with anything. And the funny thing is, he gets Harry to start talking. I'm calling him Harry. He gets Harry to start talking, and you can tell his mom. You know, while it's her son, she can't help herself but to start arguing with him.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me. Because she supports him in that moment because she doesn't want her son to look bad on camera.
Right.
But because these things that he preached are so detrimental and so harmful, even his own mom couldn't help herself on camera for a documentary that they know is going on Netflix and probably going to make them look bad. Yeah. And that's the thing. They kept calling it a hit piece. Louis didn't really do much degrading here. He didn't really do much. This was just, hey, I'm asking you questions. I'm testing the consistency of your ideology. Let's see how this plays out in life. And you could clearly tell Louis didn't agree with it, right? There was a segment on, I think, Myron Gaines' show where they said something outrageous, like I can't even remember what it was. There was some sort of stat, and Louis was like, "That's not true at all," and that's why you stay under fire because of the misinformation.
Yes.
Right? Half these guys have gotten kicked off of YouTube for the a lot of their anti-Semitic or just racist things that they said. I remember watching Myron Gaines on the Piers Morgan show, and he was debating Marc Lamont Hill. And at some point, and let me just tell you, dude, Marc Lamont Hill may be one of the most brilliant people in the world. Myron, you don't even hold half of a candle to this guy. You're nowhere near this guy's level whatsoever, whether intellectually, knowledge-wise, educationally. You're not even. You should lick this guy's boots. You wish to be half the man that Marc Lamont Hill is. And while Marc Lamont Hill is speaking, and they're speaking about a racial issue, mind you, Myron Gaines is, if I'm not mistaken, half black. Holds up a gun and it shoots out a little flag that says the N-word on it with a hard ER on it. Like that's the clown shit that these guys do. Like just clown
crazy
shit. Like you're a clown, bro. You're a clown, and you preach clown shit. These are the lamest guys walking the planet, and have somehow bamboozled you guys into thinking they're the coolest. I don't know, like it just, that's not how it was. This reminds me of like 21 Jump Street when they go back to school and like everything's different. It's like in my school, we slap the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah.
You guys are lame. Like you would be a pussy in my high school. We'd laugh at you. You'd get bullied. And it's unfortunate because I'm totally against bullying.
You are.
But you guys you weren't the cool guys in school, dude. You guys were lame. You didn't get pussy. That's why you hate women now.
That would make a lot of sense, actually.
They all come from, which the crazy part is, one thing that he honed in on is that they all came from, a lot of them came from single mother households.
Yeah.
But the insane part to that is, so did I. But they had the opposite effect on me. Like, it made me respect women because I watched my mom. Right. And all the hard work she put in to raise me and my brother by herself. So to grow up and to call women weak when my whole life was a woman who had to use nothing but strength to raise me, and I know did the same shit for you guys.
Absolutely.
It blows my fucking mind. And the fact that and I hate that your mothers failed you. I hate that because you grew up to basically be everything that she warned you against. Mm-hmm. You became, and it's sad because these mothers probably think they failed you.
I know,
but
I would
you
feel that
failed
way.
them. You failed your mom. You failed your moms, all of you. The woman that raised you and put all that hard work in there, you failed her. She didn't fail you. Mm-mm.
They thought they were raising like good men who would grow up and treat women with respect and treat them the way that they should be treated. And I don't know how the opposite happens.
I don't know.
It is so...
Well, because there's money in it.
For sure. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's what it is. I think that they just...
Everything to you guys is transactional.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to...
Do we think that the Tates really feel that way? I'm just trying to piece it all together.
Are a different story. And does Andrew feel this way about women?
They need a whole episode on them. I am trying to piece it together and understand. I get they started it, right? It did start with them.
I think these are just a bunch of guys who don't respect women.
Yeah.
And then found that, the harder we push this,
the more money we make, the more followers we get.
Yeah, and if you don't respect women, it's really easy to degrade them. You don't see them as humans. You think they should belong in the and whether you think they belong in the kitchen or not, if you keep on saying it and you see that it garners this sort of this is called, we call it rage bait, right? Yeah. Because you're either going to get people that agree with you and then they follow you, you're going to get people that go against you and hate you. But either way, you're generating viewership from it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
I just don't think that they are living the lives that they claim that they're living behind the scenes. I definitely think that it's a huge money scheme.
Yeah.
And I think that it is a danger to society. These young, I'm thinking about the young men and even the boys, right? Because we do have teens and preteens on social media, and they are catching glimpses of this. I think even in the show, there were some young boys that did go up to one of them.
There was, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't know, as a parent, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
they should not be consuming that type of content. Whatever grown men want to do with their time and the content they want to consume, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like they don't care with the fact that their followers do consist of these little boys who can't think for themselves just yet. And they're still trying to figure out their likes and their dislikes. And they're in their most like impressionable time. You know, and they should learn how to treat women. But instead, they're getting this bullshit content of them telling them to mistreat women. I think it's disgusting, and I think that I'm just scared for the future.
Yeah.
Like, we have daughters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these
and
boys they could potentially run into when they start dating.
Yeah. Yeah, the men you're influencing, my daughter has to grow up with those men. And you're going to get these men fucked up.
Absolutely.
Because if any of them treat my daughter that way, you're going to have to deal with me. And I promise you, I'm way worse than any of you. I'm way worse than all of you. I'm way worse.
Yes.
So let's just get into this. Because I'm going to close this out. I'm telling you that a woman's value has nothing to do with how many partners she has. These guys grew up with no women. They had no game, no charm. These are the niggas that we used to stuff in lockers. They got a hold of some steroids, got a hold of a camera, and recreated their life. You don't want women to be whatever the hell title that you want to attribute to them, then why don't you stay in their lives as fathers? How about be a good role model? Be a role model for the man that you want her to marry. Stop treating their moms like shit. How about that? And they're gonna run around and tell you that they love women. They don't love women. That's not what love looks like. Love is unconditional. Love is unjudgmental. And to the guys all in this Red Pill community, suck my